Hey everybody, welcome to Buffalo After Dark. It's actually just the two of us tonight. So we've got Big Phresh Matt, Sean over here, and then we got me and Tom Wojcik from Tom Wojcik Show. Sean, I know we've been off for like last week or so. How's things going? How was your holiday?
Hey, not much, man. Just actually got finished grilling some ribs today, and whew, nice.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Actually posted a picture on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I was going to say, definitely love grilling up and everything. And one of the biggest things that I did for the 4th was have a new gas grill. So I got that about a couple months ago. And it was just nice to like seafood, clams, steaks, all that stuff on the grill. I'm like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I actually just bought our own new gas grill last week.
Nice.
I think it was a couple weeks ago. I don't remember. I think it was last week.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, and that's like one of those things. It's like every one of these days, like one of the things I want to do seriously is get a smoker. That's like one of the biggest things I've wanted to buy for a long time. Get a gas smoker, do ribs, do like a turkey or something like that in there sometime, do some other stuff with it. I mean, I'm totally up for that. Love that stuff.
Nice.
And can never go wrong with beef jerky either.
Oh, no. You gotta add beef jerky to that.
Oh, yeah. That's actually one of the fun things. When I ended up, for those who don't know, I used to work at an outdoor store, which no longer exists. But one of the things that we used to do every so often was that we would actually have some demo days and different things like that. So when I used to work at Gander Mountain out in the Buffalo area here before it got bought out and changed to Gander RV and Outdoors, what happened is we would do things like we'd make our own beef jerky in the store for like some of the demos, and we'd try out like some of the different seasoning blends, mixes, stuff like that. And then I remember one Thanksgiving we actually were grilling venison steaks outside of our ATV shop. So that was just, we had some good eating at that place, for sure. So good stuff. But yeah, jerky, can never go wrong with it. So anyways, besides that, Matt, Sean, how what else did you do for your holiday?
I mean, nothing really big, honestly. Just still getting ready to go back to school next month and stuff like that. No, nothing big really.
Yeah, good stuff. I know you got your channel up and running and everything's doing good with that. So
yeah, I've been making some changes on my channel, and actually made a new vlog channel so I can just put all my stuff, all my vlogs on there. Everything, basically my life outside of gaming and whatnot. So
awesome. Yeah, one of the things I've been working on actually the last little bit was I'm doing a little bit of an overhaul with my Jeep, and just one of those things. I've had it for about 8.5 years. It's starting to get up there in mileage. I mean, I've got over 122,000 on it now, and I figured it was time to make some changes to it. So, I mean, did a little bit of an appearance upgrade on the front, chromed a couple things, doing some lighting upgrades on it. Switching a lot of stuff to LEDs now instead of the original to cut down on the electric usage and things like that on the car. And then other than that, just getting it rust proof this coming week. So figured up here in the north, I mean, Crown is one of the best things you can get for the truck, so or any car. And it's like literally get the car sprayed in an hour and all is good. So just one of those things I needed to do, and then just gonna have some other work done on it the following week, and then just kind of work as I go is kind of what I'm thinking. So who knows? I mean, I might actually do like a little bit of stuff on my channel about that, just to kind of show some of the stuff with the overhaul and what to look for, and just some simple ways to keep it going. So
Gotcha.
yeah, but I've always loved working on some stuff like that, and I figured it was a good time to do it. So
yeah.
So it's worth it. But definitely one of the biggest things that came up this week, and I'm going to throw this out there as our Hotbox segment for the week, and is Major League Baseball. And one of the big things that came up in the Buffalo area, actually, within the past day or so, is that even though we're not going to have minor league baseball with Bisons, the Toronto Blue Jays are actually looking at having their games hosted at Salem Field here in Buffalo. So what ended up coming out is Mike Harrington from Buffalo News, he ended up reporting that they are considering playing the 2020 home games here at Salem Field. And unfortunately, fans, you're not going to be able to watch the game in person. They're not going to allow fans in there. But basically what has happened is that there's a lot of travel restrictions in Canada right now, especially in Ontario. And of course, up in our neck of the woods, we have multiple border crossings. And unless it's an essential crossing, you're not going over to Canada and back. It's just right now, it's not possible to do that. So what has happened is that Canadian health officials are giving the Blue Jays the okay to actually have camp in Toronto, but they're not allowing them to have games. So because of that, it is something where basically they're going to allow them to potentially have the games here in Buffalo. And a big reason for that came out was because teams would have to quarantine for 2 weeks every time they enter into Canada. So that's not feasible typically for a lot of sports schedules. And then the other option that came out is having the games in Florida, which a lot of times what happened now is with Florida, they're having a massive virus outbreak again, which we can talk about that a little bit later. But it looks like Buffalo's going to be the leading choice in this.
Wow. Well, that's what's up, man. You know what? I feel like it does make sense for the Blue Jays to have their home games in Buffalo. What was it? An hour driving?
Yeah, like hour and a half, depending on how fast you're going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Toronto has like a pretty good fan base here already. I mean, Major League Baseball, it was never super huge in Buffalo, but I mean, the Bisons have always had good support, and the stadium, Salem Field, has really held up well. I mean, it's like a 30-plus-year-old stadium now, and one of the things I remember when that was built, it was actually built to expand and to become possibly a major league stadium, because there was a rumor at the time that with the Cleveland Indians not doing well with their old stadium, that they could make the move to Buffalo, and possibly it would have been a major league team for us. But I mean, there is capability to still add that upper deck over at that stadium here in Buffalo, and I mean, it's built in. So it's just a matter of how everything will work out. But I mean, considering it's only an hour to 90 minutes away from the fan base, and considering that there's still support here for them, I mean, I think it's a better option in Florida, honestly.
Yeah, it's a way better option, and it's just like this. It's just like the majority of the South here is just out of control with the pandemic and stuff, compared to up north. So yeah, it'd be smarter and safer for the Blue Jays to have the game up in Buffalo.
Yeah, and I know, like, down south, especially this week, I mean, it's really exploded again. I mean, I know you're in the Atlanta area. Are you guys getting it as bad as Florida right now, or?
Honestly, I don't know. I think Florida has it worse. And speaking of Florida, Disney's 2 parks in Florida are reopening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with everything going on, it's like,
why?
Why?
You got one of the worst pandemic cases in the country. Why are you opening up your daggone parks?
I know, and it's just insane. I mean, they're not doing that up here in New York anytime soon. I mean, granted, I mean, Buffalo area, we're in phase 4. They did reopen the malls this week. They are going to be reopening the gyms probably next week as part of it. But at the same time, it's still a lot of people are wondering, is like, what's actually going to happen here? Is everything going to reopen, or is stuff going to be still shut down, or is it going to go backwards, or what's going to happen?
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, especially Florida, it's really picked up this past week. And I heard something like they had like almost 2,000 cases in one day or something. It's insane.
Gosh.
With emergency room visits. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
I know. I know. It's like
makes you wonder if Florida's even going to make it in next year.
I know. I was thinking about that. I'm like, I mean, they got through the first part of it. Now, of course, it's back. And then there was talk about, well, there might be a resurgence of everything.
Yep.
Well, that resurgence might be here. Possibly.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But anyways, another thing we'll get into in a moment is, well, first and foremost, for people wondering why Bobby's not here, there's a reason he's not here. So we'll talk about it. First and foremost, congrats on your 6-year anniversary with your girlfriend, Bobby. And of course, Buffalo Bob decided to get hitched today. He's engaged now, so congrats. So good job, man. Yep. So
no better day to pop the question than on your anniversary.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, I mean, I've actually had a chance to meet them both in person. Actually, they're a really good couple, good people all together. So, you know, congrats to you both. And of course, we'll talk about some stuff that you wanted us to talk about on the show tonight. So we'll definitely do that. But we had to throw it out there. And yes, Bobby, we will. Trevor's going to be here to bust your balls about the Mets next week. So he already confirmed that. And for everyone, just so you know, next week it is going to be a very good show because it is going to be a baseball themed show the entire time. And it's going to be Trevor Howard from the Howard Hour podcast. He's coming on. And he's going to face off against Bob here, and then he's actually going to face off against you too because I know. He hates the Yankees. I know you love the Yankees. Bobby loves the Mets. It's gonna be a fun 3-way here.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
And yes, your Astros still suck, Trevor. Cheaters.
For real.
Yeah, I'll pay the luxury tax over cheating. So, I can't wait for that to happen.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, but I was gonna say, how's your you hear any news on your Yanks or anything like that?
Anything what?
Any news on the Yankees?
Not really. No, nothing going on right now.
Yeah. You know, it's weird. It's like there's not much on the Bills happening. It's just been standard stuff. Not much on the Sabres, although Lindy Ruff actually, we did have a little bit of news for Lindy Ruff this week. So, of course, he was a former coach of the Buffalo Sabres. Then he ended up being the head coach of the Dallas Stars. He was an assistant on the New York Rangers, and now he actually has a head coaching job with the New Jersey Devils. So it's a good upgrade for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially, they need defensive help. Lindy Ruff has always been a defensive-minded coach. I mean, he'll do some good stuff with them, and definitely looking forward to see what happens. They needed it. So, especially some of the talent that they have there with, with Hughes and everybody else that they have. I just see it being a good fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple of things also that I just wanted to kind of mention that came out. There was actually more hockey-related news, and there was actually a rumor about that actually came out by Rick Delawall from TSN up in Canada, and he had mentioned Brock Boeser, Brock Boeser from Vancouver could possibly get traded to the Sabres. And it's not known exactly what the deal would entail, but it's probably going to be a deal for Ristolainen, or you're definitely going to have at least a top defender going. I was thinking about it a little bit, and we talked about it on the pre-show before we went live here. But having a top line of Boeser, Eichel, and then having Skinner on it, that's a very, very good top line to have. And it would be a really huge upgrade for the Sabres. And especially with Risto, with the fact that he's wanted out, a couple times, and especially with the fact that his stats haven't been all that great, especially if you look at the advanced stats, that's an issue. So, it could be a very good upgrade both ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not, I'm not really into hockey that much, except sometimes when I want to find a little news on the Sabres, and I like hearing that news.
Yeah, definitely. And then a couple other things that actually ended up coming out was the XFL. So I know we've been following the XFL for a bit. As we all know, the XFL ended up coming back this season. They started with their teams. Typically, I know we've covered the New York Guardians a little bit here on this channel. And one of the big things that ended up coming up is that, of course, COVID-19 basically forced the league into bankruptcy. Well, there is actually going to be new ownership for the XFL, and we should know that. by August 7th, because there's a couple confirmed bidders that have gone in and they want to actually bring back the league. And then by August 7th, we should know who is actually going to be taking over the XFL. And from that point, in fact, now that they'll have some additional money coming in and they'll have some other resources, I mean, it's looking very promising that the XFL will be back next season.
I mean, the first time I heard that the XFL was going into bankruptcy, and when they said at the time they're not coming back for next season, that really sucked, because I was really enjoying it, you know, for those few weeks that they had their season. But yeah, and to hear this, no, I really hope not, and I really hope they come back next season this time, because I need some more football in my life.
Yeah, same here. And honestly, the XFL actually has a pretty good product out. I mean, they really do, because I mean, the different, like some of the rule changes and things like that. I mean, once the XFL ended up starting up, it was very quick that, especially with the NFL at the end of the season, they ended up coming out, and they basically ended up trying to make some changes to try and be more like the XFL. And that shows that, I mean, it's something where the XFL is working. And plus, it's great to have that competition back and forth, you know, having that other league. I mean, it's just great. So I'm really looking forward to it, and you know, I'm happy to see it coming back.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you can have hard hitting football, but you also have safety procedures going on at the same time. You know, it worked for the XFL. You know, still got your hard hits, your hard tackles, all that stuff. It still worked out.
Absolutely, and I mean, especially with the teams that they have. I mean, they have a pretty good fan base. I mean, the fans will grow. I mean, as there's more exposure to the league. I mean, that'll definitely happen. But I mean, I could definitely see the XFL adding some additional cities in the future. I mean, it's especially now that they're going to have some of the additional backing, and with the possibility, I know that one of the teams was actually going to be possibly relocating to San Antonio, which, I mean, they have a stadium already there. I mean, I could see some other spots that wouldn't be possibly NFL cities, but there could definitely be some teams coming back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, best believe I definitely hope the Guardians are coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here.
That's my one team right there.
Yeah, same here. And then even on top of that, with the NFL, I mean, there's who knows what's going to happen with their season this year, but it looks like at least everything is still fairly on track to, you know, start up when they're supposed to. I mean, I'm hoping it does. I mean, I love watching it, but it's something where, I mean, I love the fact with the XFL though, right after the NFL season. I mean, you know, it gives us that all year round football virtually.
Yep. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and with the whole talks about preseason, either maintaining their 4-week schedule or cutting it down to half, all that stuff, and I think I read a news somewhere that a team was going to invite like 25% of their fans in their for the home games. I forgot which team it was though.
Yeah, there was a story about that, and I want to say it was. I mean, it definitely didn't come out of Buffalo, but I want to say it was possibly either Dallas or it was one of the other teams. I'd have to take a look back through and see where the story originated from, but I know that there was a possibility where they would do the reduced capacity and still allow some people in. I know Major League Baseball right now, they're not allowing anybody in. Although the Mets actually had an idea to make it look like fans were there. They'll just use cardboard cutouts of their season ticket holders. So it's anybody's guess at this point, you know, what'll happen, but it'll be interesting. You know, I mean, I'm definitely still hoping that there's going to be a full season and they're on schedule or pretty close to schedule.
Yep.
Yeah. So then another thing that we also wanted to kind of talk about a little bit this week was, and actually it's funny because Bobby had mentioned this, and there is actually going to be a Batman series spinoff that's coming up. So just to kind of touch on that a little bit, and I'll admit I don't follow it a whole ton. I know he loves that stuff, but we can talk about it. So basically, Batman spinoff series, it's going to be coming on to HBO Max, and basically it's going to be set with the Gotham State Police. Obviously, it's going to be kind of in step with the rest of the whole series that they've had, going all the way back. And basically, what it's going to be featuring is that Matt Reeves is going to be directing it. It's being worked on by Boardwalk Empire creator Terrence Winter, and then of course Batman producers Dylan Clark and Warner Brothers are all involved with it. So it's basically designed to kind of look at more of the corruption with Gotham, and then it's going to be it's going to be basically more like a sequel to the most recent movie that they had. So it'll definitely be interesting. And then the other thing is, I'm not sure who they're gonna. It doesn't really say who's going to be actually starring in it yet. So that's the one thing I haven't really seen much of. But at the same time, I mean, it looks like it's going to at least go a season, and it should be coming up within the next year or two, and gives us a little something else to look at.
Yep, definitely. And I'm kind of I saw I read somewhere, I saw an article title talking about this, and you know what? And honestly, I'm interested. I'm more. No, I'm into the DC comic shows and movies, all that stuff. But not a lot, not as much. But
Mm-hmm.
but this got my interest.
Yeah, definitely. And then even with that, I know you're definitely big in the WWE. I know you follow wrestling quite a bit. Their staffers actually got some good news this week, and that is that a lot of the people that were laid off back in March and April are actually being allowed to come back.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, some of them I forgot what that word was called, but like some of them were only temporarily released and stuff like that because of the whole pandemic stuff like that. And it's good to hear that they came back. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in even watching some of that this past week, I mean, SmackDown ratings I know were not that great. Raw's ratings were not that great. They've been in the tank for a while actually on both of them, and it's just one of these days they've got to update their creative. They've got to get better people in there, better storylines, stuff that can be followed. Because I mean, the one big thing that happens is, I mean, yes, you're gonna get the casual fans, but you want to have your diehard fans that are going to be turning in every single week and wanting to watch and see how a storyline unfolds. And if they're cutting storylines short, or half the time they're making such big swerves that it doesn't make sense, I mean, it's almost like, what are you going to do?
Exactly. And like here's the thing, they've already got the hardcore fans. I feel like they've already got them because because it's like no matter what they put on their shows, whether a story is good or it sucks, all that stuff doesn't matter. They're still gonna watch it every single time. And honestly, man, like the Raw and SmackDown episodes, like especially this week, I really felt like they were just off, like just completely off. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, it just seemed like the storylines were missing something this week. It just seems like something wasn't there. And a lot of what they've been doing as of late, I just think with creative, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's almost like like one example I could kind of go back to is like back when in the late 90s, early 2000s, when they had the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era. I mean, those storylines were solid. I mean, and there was no question like what was going to happen. I mean, there's no question the direction that they were going. But at the same time, I mean, the storylines were so good to the point, and Vince Russo was part of WWE back then, and then of course he did a lot of improvements to WCW before they got bought out. But at the time, I mean, when Russo had his team on there, and Paul Heyman was part of creative, obviously, even though he was doing ECW and then went to WWE. I mean, a lot of what they were doing was definitely stuff that would keep you on edge, and you always were kind of guessing. It's like, okay, what's going to happen here? And it made you want to follow it. And a lot of times, I mean, especially back then I was a teenager, I mean, that was stuff we would talk about every day. It's like on Tuesday morning in school. It's like, hey, did you see Raw last night? It's like, what'd you think about it? And we could literally have like an hour-long conversation on and breaking down the show.
Yeah, and like speaking of something that's still being talked about, like this past Wednesday on NXT, did you see the main event for NXT?
I didn't get a chance to watch the main event, but I mean, I do love that NXT is now every week on USA. They're actually broadcasting it, which is great.
Yeah, like it was a winner take all match between Keith Lee and Adam Cole, and I'm just gonna say, just for the record, I am not an Adam Cole fan at all. Just something about him just it doesn't settle right with me. But I was just glad that Keith Lee won it all. Like it was for both the NXT North American Championship and the NXT title, and he won them both. He's NXT's first ever double champion, and I've been looking, and I saw the YouTube. I watched that YouTube highlight over and over again because I'm big on Keith Lee. It's got nearly like 900,000 views on it, and that tells you that guys like Keith Lee, they can draw. He can guys like him can draw.
Right, and it's
just something about him that that draws you into him.
Right. It's almost like, remember when Finn Balor was in NXT and then he did the transition to WWE, and remember how they started him off where they basically had him come in as the Demon, and they had those entrances. They basically had it set up to where, okay, you knew that there was going to be a big fight happening because anytime he comes out with the Demon King attire, it's something where there's something going on. And it's almost like they pumped that up, and a lot of people knew, okay, this is going to be Finn Balor. But it almost seems like they didn't use Finn Balor the right way in a lot of their creative lines. And that's the thing I've noticed, especially with a lot of the NXT people coming over. I mean, Nakamura, same thing. I mean, he had such a huge pop when he first ended up debuting in WWE, but what happened? I mean, it's like the storyline went downhill so quick, and it's like they're not even using his character the right way.
Exactly. I mean, again, there's no other way to explain it. There really isn't.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like that's happening more and more. It's like you want to get good ratings. I mean, it's bad enough that they only had like a 1.9 rating. For a Monday night show, and then Friday was even worse. But I'm like, you're not using your characters the right way. It's like you don't have a good storyline. Half the time they're like stopping a storyline before it's even done, and it's like they won't let it like naturally go through everything. And I'm like, it just gets harder and harder to follow.
Yeah, and the viewership and the ratings prove it. 1.7 million for Raw, I think, or whatever it was. I think SmackDown had like 1.7 million, and Raw had 1.6 something million. Just the viewership the viewership is just dwindling week after week. It's like it's a never ending cycle these days, and it's just ugh.
Yeah,
I can't explain it any other way.
Right. I mean, and anytime I've tried to watch Raw, even this is going back even a couple years now, ever since I went way downhill. I mean, the thing I've noticed, well, Raw should be 2 hours and not 3. I mean, I think that would be a big help, because then because instead of stretching it out as long as they are, I mean, when Raw was 2 hours, they got everything in that they wanted to get in, and you were basically, when they had the good creative, I mean, you were forced to watch the entire show because stuff would happen and you wouldn't even, and out of nowhere. And it was great. But now it's like they drag out everything so much. It seems like they don't have as many matches as they used to because they're trying to pump up the network again. And it's like everybody knows, yeah, it's $9.99. You get like virtually nothing. But although the network is good, actually, if you want to watch the older stuff, which is a really good stuff. But it just seems like, I mean, like half the time if I turn on Raw, I'm gonna fall asleep. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done that before. I've fallen asleep during those 3 hours because the storyline's brutal. Like the last time I had watched it, and this was like about 2 weeks ago, I turn it on and literally like 40 minutes in, I'm falling asleep and I wake up at 11 o'clock.
Oh man. Yeah, I've done that a couple times myself,
Yeah.
and I honestly these days I can barely watch their YouTube highlights on this sort of stuff like that, man. It's just like I'm just getting to the point. I'm almost at a point where I'm just gonna like quit just quit watching wrestling altogether, man, because it's not they're not improving. They're not they're not even trying to improve these days, and it's just and the numbers prove it, and it's just it's too repetitive for me, man. It's just I don't know. That's where I'm at. That's where my head is at right now.
It seems like they try to rehash the same stuff over and over again. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that was the thing that helped the Attitude Era. Well, the first thing that helped the Attitude Era is that they had WCW at the time, so they had to compete, and they were trying to one up each other every single week. So of course, the only thing now is AEW, but they don't have a Monday night show, so that's
Right.
one problem there. But ever since WCW, ECW got bought out, when the two when both of those companies had Monday night shows, I mean, you had like your choice of like different things you could watch. And I mean, there were times I thought Nitro was better than Raw, like before Raw really started getting better. And then there were times I would throw ECW on just for pure blood sport. So if I just wanted a match where someone was just beating the hell out of somebody, and there was, if it was like one of those things, for example, like New Jack, oh, I would love watching his stuff.
Oh gosh, New Jack.
Oh, New Jack.
Oh man.
I mean, he's lucky he didn't die on half of his stuff that he did.
Right? Like, dang, man. Like I saw, like I think there was a clip on Twitter from Dark Side of the Ring, and like this dude, you see him jumping off balconies, falling off of freaking scaffoldings and all that stuff. I'm like, wow. How is he not crippled? How is he not in a wheelchair?
Right. Yeah, and to your point, like I remember that time that he ended up. It was like him and Vic and Grimes actually. I mean, him and Vic Grimes hated each other. And I remember the time when they ended up like partially missing the table, and I think it was in Connecticut. They jumped off of like a upper deck or something like that. And I remember New Jack, I guess, like lost sight in his one eye, and he had like like a skull fracture or something with how he landed. But then,
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
so I
Man.
remember that match. But then after ECW ended, they ended up going into a different promotion altogether, and they had this scaffold match, and it was one of those things where they ended up climbing. It was like really high up, also like off the ring. And New Jack actually ended up bringing a taser. He ended up shocking Vic Grimes, and then he threw him off the scaffold.
Yeah,
You ever see that one? He like goes off the ropes.
Yep. Oh man, I think he said something about he was. I think he said he was literally trying to kill the guy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He
actually wanted to kill him.
Oh
And
man,
he almost did with the way he landed. I
Yeah.
think like Grimes ended up with like multiple fractures and busted bones and everything. And I'm like, just the way he landed through the tables, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, that was
he was fortunate that he was still alive.
yeah. Then I remember the mass transit incident when they had that wrestler in there against New Jack, and New Jack made him basically bleed.
Oh man.
So there was that. There was ECW Living Dangerously when New Jack was here in Buffalo, and I remember they had like a big street fight outside in the snow outside the Flickinger Center. So, yeah. Although, I gotta say from ECW, though, he was one of my favorite to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, just him, and then him coming out to Dr. Dre, that was pretty cool. So, you always had that play.
I mean, he is from California, so
yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess like a couple other things we could kind of go into, like anything on the gaming scene that you've heard about lately, or
Oh boy. Um, I think like some of the biggest news were like from probably from last week or something like that. Still haven't heard anything as to why Dr. Disrespect was permanently banned from Twitch. So no info on that. Um, there's really honestly nothing else big right now. Um, who knows? But still some people are still talking about it. They're still covering the whole situation. And yeah, so there's not really much gaming news going on right now.
yeah.
Oh, except I don't know if I did mention this before. I might have, but I don't remember when Mixer decided to shut its doors and just partner up with Facebook Gaming, and when the like no one knew none of the no one knew what was going on. They had no idea this was happening. Not the Mixer streamers, not even the Mixer staff. Not even they didn't even get an email as to the whole shutdown thing. And like it's just unfortunate, man. But I made a lot of friends over on Mixer now that went over to Twitch and already got Twitch affiliates, Twitch partnership. I'm happy for them. And I myself I was going to stream on Twitch, but I think I'm just gonna. But I decided to stay on YouTube because you know I feel like Twitch has a little more gaming traffic going on than YouTube, and I don't know. I just felt like I have a better chance of growing on YouTube because I'm not restricted by how many hours or how many days a week I should make gaming content and all that and whatnot. So, but yeah, that's about it, man. There's not really much going on in gaming right now.
Yeah, I mean, and even just on some of the other stuff around here, I mean, there really hasn't been too much news going on. Just just other than a couple other places reopening here in New York State, I mean, it's just been kind of status quo. I mean, there's not much else happening. We still got to take all the precautions, obviously, but I
Yep.
mean, it is nice to see some stuff coming back, though, even more so. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of what we have going on. Um, let's see, favorite place of the week. So, actually, during the week, it was nice. I actually got to try out another place out by my work and did a lunch over at Teton Kitchen. It's out in Cheektowaga. They have one in Buffalo. Really, really good stuff. I mean, sushi, it's absolutely great. They have some very good Thai food. They have good Vietnamese stuff. But I will tell you, that was probably some of the best drunken noodles I've had. The Pad Kim Yao. That is definitely good. The Pad Kim Yao. Definitely
Nice.
never goes wrong. Crushed one of those yesterday, yesterday on Friday. So I had the office to myself. And I'm like, all right, gotta go for it. So
Yeah.
it's good stuff. But
And favorite place. I can't remember the name, but it was like the small bar and grill, a grill and bar restaurant up in Duluth. I think it was yeah, it was last year. Me and my dad who just went over there to get a bite to eat and all that stuff, and just had some. They got like some good burgers there. The one I think I remember having like a burger with I think it was a blue cheese burger or something like that. It was really good.
yeah, it actually reminds me. You just mentioned something. It actually reminds me of this one sandwich I like to get. It's yeah, a place called the Ebenezer Ale House. It's out in West Hanukkah. Great stuff over there. They do a lot of different local brews over there. They have the patio. They've got all that set up, and I mean, really nice vibe of that place. And then
Yeah.
it's interesting because then they have Rusty Nickel the brewery right behind it. So there's like two places in one parking lot you can go to. But I will tell you the Ale House steak sandwich that they got over there, really, really worth it. And what they do, it's fresh toasted bread. They do a hand cut ribeye. They actually use like their own beers, like a trying to think what they had with it, but it's basically like a port beer. And what they do is they do like a little bit of like a gravy sauce to the steak. And then they do like caramelized onions, blue cheese crumbles on it, and I mean they'll cook the steak however you want. And literally the size of the sandwich, I mean, I'm usually like when I got it at work. I mean, this was last week. We did it last Friday. It was the day before my birthday, and literally half the sandwich was good for work. Half the sandwich came home. The thing was huge, and it's just, I mean, just everything like was so good together. And then if you have a beer with it, it's even better.
Dang, man. I gotta visit some of these
Come up,
places.
man.
Visit Buffalo, man. What the heck?
You gotta come up. It's like me, Vinny. We'll show you some
man.
good places.
I got to, man. I'm thinking about I've actually been thinking about doing like a couple trips for my birthday or during spring break. I don't know yet.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of those. I mean, if you're to come up, I mean, we can definitely get you good wings. I mean, Barbell actually, which they're known for really good wings. They're out in East Aurora, but they actually have a North Towns location now. So, I mean, so they've got a couple places. Gabriel's Gate's always been good. I mean, there's a lot of good local places for that. But that Ebenezer Ale House is really good. Like, if you want a seriously good steak sandwich, that's a place to go get it.
Nice.
Yeah. But then you talking about that burger, there's actually a brand new, well, it's not brand new to the area, but a place called Rock Burger, which started out in Niagara Falls. They actually just opened in Cheektowaga, and then I think there's another one that's going to be opening, but it's stuffed burgers. That's like the biggest thing they're known for, is having a stuffed burger, and they'll cook it any way you want it, and the things are huge. And it's like one of those things where you go there and they'll have like several different kinds you can choose from. And I think there is like a blue cheese version. They have like a mac and cheese burger. They have
gosh.
They have like a cheeseburger stuffed burger, which is like beyond with like, I mean, you like cheese, that'll definitely get you. And then they have like so many other types that you can choose from. I'm like, and I was thinking about it, I'm like, maybe I will give that a shot. I mean, it's been around for a while. I haven't made my way up there, but I mean, now that it's actually closer to where I work, I might actually pop in there on a lunch and grab one and see how it is.
Jeez, man, you're making my mouth water again.
Hey, you brought it up with the ribs earlier.
Yeah, but I'm hungry again.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but yeah, you actually gave me an idea. I should throw some ribs on the grill at some point. I haven't done that in a while. So, oh man, which actually we'll have to find out from Bobby a little bit next week, like how his whole anniversary and everything went, because I know him and his now fiance, I know that they went out earlier, and yeah, which they're a lot of fun. If you ever get to meet the two of them in person, it's definitely a fun time. I remember actually back in September actually it was back this past September. We actually, all three of us, we took a road trip up to Toronto, and we spent the day up there, and they were here for a few days with the openers. So we ended up doing like a tailgate like on the day of the game, and of course we ended up doing the game. Obviously, it was Cincinnati, and we won it, which was awesome. But the day before, we actually ended up going up to Toronto, and we ended up spending pretty much all afternoon there. So it was a fun time. I hadn't been up there in a while. We went to the Hockey Hall of Fame. We did the CN Tower. We went to Wayne Gretzky's restaurant. We went to the Eaton Center, and we actually, Maple Leaf Gardens is still up there, where they used to have the Toronto Maple Leafs play before they moved. And it's very interesting what they did with that place, because Maple Leaf Gardens is now, there still is a hockey ice rink in there. And now I think it's like Ryerson University that's in there. And it's more like a small college ice arena now. But then part of it is actually a grocery store. And they have on the floor, and I remember this because I told Bobby this, and I found this out online. One of the aisles, they actually have the dot in the floor where it was center ice, where they would actually drop the puck. So it's pretty neat.
I'm long overdue for a trip to Canada, man.
Yeah.
Long overdue.
I know. It's like hopefully once all this coronavirus stuff dies down, I would love to go back over to Canada for a day or two,
Yep.
and I have friends up there I would love to visit. I just right now none of us can go over there, and vice versa. But I will say the Loblaws and Maple Leaf Gardens. That's actually the store that took part of that arena, and I mean it's really cool. I mean it's 2 floors. They actually took like old seats from one of the blue sections that they had, and they actually have it like in a maple leaf, and they did some different things with it, and just the whole place was pretty cool. I mean, actually, we had lunch there. It was actually pretty good, honestly, for supermarket food. It was pretty good, but it was just nice, like being in that building and being able to stand right where center ice was and all that. It definitely had that nice little vibe to it.
Okay, it's not bad.
Yeah, so. I'm trying to think. It's like there wasn't really much else I could even think about tonight. I mean, I know we're a little shorter than usual, but yeah. But I know next week. I mean, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have our nice little baseball showdown on here, and we're gonna definitely be talking some smacks. So, and I already heard from Trevor this week. He said he's definitely gonna be on. So he's already made that commitment, and that was perfect. So,
Yeah.
oh, I can't wait for that. It's like, and the Astros World Series win was a fluke.
Yeah.
So,
Shoot. I don't even want to revisit that time, man. Screw
I
that.
know. It's nuts. It's nuts. But
It is.
yeah. But as I say before we all take off, Sean, where can we find you on YouTube?
You can find me in two YouTube channels. Search Big Phresh Matt. That's my main channel. That's where I'll be doing. That's why I'm doing Let's Plays. You know, all that gaming stuff. And my Big Phresh Matt vlogs channel. Search for that too. That's where I'll do all my vlogs, from sit down vlogs to day in the life vlogs, all that jazz. And you can also follow me on social media, on Twitter, and I'm back on Instagram. Both usernames are at Big Phresh Matt, and I'll be definitely doing a couple streams every now and then on Twitch. Just follow me on twitch.tv/Big Phresh Matt, and
Awesome.
that's all I got.
Awesome. Yep. And then anyone who follows me, I know I haven't uploaded in a little bit, but we have the Tom Woodchuck Show on YouTube. And then we also have our main Twitter page at Horns and Hooves Entertainment. So we've got that all set. Our website's coming along, so we will be launching that in the near future. So we'll announce when hornsandhooves.net is up. But, we're just doing some work on there, making some tweaks. A couple little changes, but so far, I mean, the whole overall look of it's been really good from what we've had a chance to see before it gets released to everybody. So,
All right.
A lot of good stuff. But in the meantime, we'll have a full show next week. So for Big Phresh Matt and Tom, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Take care, guys.
You bet.